A very good evening and thank you for joining us here in the edition of English News. We'll begin with the headlines. Rwanda is ranked 6th with a score of 66% among the African countries with excellent projects in affordable housing. University students in Rwanda district are committed to combating genocide denial and ideology. On the international scene, poverty and hunger are factors in the global migration crisis, says experts.
2020.
My name is Olive Nete. I believe you are having a productive week. Now let's kick off our edition. We'll begin with this story that talks about affordable housing. Rwanda is ranked 6th with a score of 66% among the African countries with excellent projects in affordable housing. This is according to a poll by Statistics Africa. William Evans kicks us off tonight.
This poll involved a survey of 50,000 respondents across 32 African countries, focusing on housing accessibility, quality, innovation, and social impact. In the first place is Kenya scoring 89%, Burkina Faso with 82% comes in second place, South Africa in the third place with 76%, Mali in the fourth at 70%, Eswatini in the fifth with 68%, Rwanda in the sixth with 66%, and Libya came last with 22%. However, despite this, some locals still find the cost of accommodation not affordable, especially in the capital, Kigali. It is costly to build a house or buy a plot of land nowadays, especially in the city. Based on the city's vision, I don't think we shall afford living in this city in the near future. The government should maybe find a way of settling us, depending on our economic situation. The Ministry of Infrastructure says that the government intends to build low-cost housing, focusing on rehousing and neighborhood upgrading, especially in Kigali. As of today, our focus is on rehousing and neighborhood upgrading. This is a more affordable approach and protects our citizens against high-cost housing. By 2050, Rwanda intends to build 5.5 million low-cost houses, which is expected to bring affordable housing solutions, especially to the low-income earners. William Evans, Mutabazi, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, William, for the details. Now moving ahead, university students in Rwanda district are committed to in combating genocide denial and ideology, striving to promote unity and uphold the resilience achieved by Rwandans. Adam Squizera has more on this.
During a presentation that was attended by government officials, including those from the Ministry of National Unity and Civic Engagement, youth expressed their readiness to leverage social media platforms in combating genocide denial and the spread of genocide ideology.
There are many Rwandan youth out there whose parents committed the genocide against the Tutsi, and some of them are exposed to distorted historical narratives. We are determined to help them learn the accurate history of Rwanda. To achieve this, we will use social media platforms, encouraging them to engage and learn more about the unity and resilience of Rwandans.
The Minister of National Unity and Civic Engagement, Dr. Bizimana Jean Damascene, attended in discussions held at ULK Gisenyi that focused on Rwandan unity and resilience. He highlighted the country's 30-year journey of rebuilding unity and resilience, emphasizing that good governance, which ensures the right to live for every Rwandan, has been a cornerstone of this progress. For those of you who have the opportunity to witness the development of this country and how it unites Rwandans, I urge you to protect this nation of yours. Every Rwandan has the right to education and access to health care. Dr. Bizimana also reiterated that the ideology of genocide persists in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, where this country supports and aids the FDLR, a group that consistently seeks to destabilize Rwanda. They fled with their military and civilians and remained in DRC. Some are still clinging to genocide ideology, refusing to repatriate and contribute to the country's development, while continuing to poison the minds of young people. If you have relatives who still harbor genocide denial and you have the opportunity to communicate with them, tell them that we are now in an inclusive Rwanda. In 2020, the unity and reconciliation rate among Rwandans reached to 94.7%, an increase from 82.3% in 2010. According to a 2023 survey by the Ministry of National Unity and Civic Engagement, the resilience rate among Rwandans stands at 75% at the individual level and 92% at the institutional level. Adams Kwizera, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Adams, for the detailed report. Now, during the World Children's Day celebrations, parents were urged to prioritize the well-being and safety of their children, emphasizing that exposure to conflicts and abuse can drive children to seek refuge on the streets. Enora Gladys with more.
These children believe that both the government and parents should do something to address the issues that still affect them.
I think what should be done is we should all encourage kids in Rwanda, children in Rwanda, not just kids, but even children who are above a certain age, because those problems are mainly associated with kids who are 14 years and above, that they should be encouraged to speak and be confident in themselves and believe in themselves. They should go into the public and talk what they want, what they feel like is right. If you have a problem with either your teacher, you should tell the school principal that this is not right. And even they're able to stand up for themselves in the entire world, in the public. And also we put strict rules against such behavior, such sexual behavior, incest, raping, any form of sexual abuse. Rwanda is really doing a lot for the children in Rwanda, for the children. You see, back in the days, kids would be raped and no one would find out. Kids, back in the days, parents would control their kids a bit too much. But now kids have known their worth and they've known that this is not right. Rwanda is now putting together some programs in schools to remind the kids that to remind the kids of what sexual abuse is like, what the dangers, how you can avoid it, and what you can do yourself as a child of Rwanda to change it, to stop everything and you speak up for yourself. You be confident and be like.
Actually, what should be done is they should be courage in students' hearts, because mostly when you have courage, then you don't have that thought in your mind that I'll lose my friend or he'll do something bad to me. Because you'll be thinking that he needs to be punished so that he can be a better friend and think about something else that is more straight to me. He doesn't want to rape me. Instead, he wants to make friends with me and find out other friends of his who want to be tortured. When you have discipline, it's one of the things that raise you up. When you have discipline, you're one of the people who will grow up to be an example to others. And second of all, you have to pray God. You have to ask for God's help, because not only parents will lead you, you also need the guide of your God, and always remember to pray. Third of all, which is last, they should be healthy.
The National Child Development Agency states that 99% of children living on the streets come from families that should have been caring for them, but they choose to run away due to conflicts. During the celebration of the World Children's Day, which had a theme reinforcing that every child deserves all their rights, the Director General Ingabire Assumpta urged children not to stay silent when they face difficulties.
Challenge of parents abuse, yes, children are being abused by the parents, by also the community, by the community members or family members. And also they're facing issues of when parents are divorcing. Of course, parents are being affected by those issues. Parents, take your responsibilities of raising properly your children. The government is there, and you have all equipment to do that. But take your responsibility as it should be done.
In taking care of a child's well-being from birth, efforts continue to be focused on the first 1,000 days of a child's life in early childhood development homes and nurseries to ensure a solid foundation for healthy life development. However, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Gender and Family Promotion emphasizes that this only is not enough and that parents should also value their responsibility in raising their children.
Inshingano zo kurera
The responsibilities of taking care of children are really huge. Rwandans also say that discipline is more important than birth because what you're given in your early years is crucial in shaping who you will become in the future. Therefore, I would like to remind parents that we give birth to children without their consent, so we must play our role very well. Statistics from the National Institute of Statistics of Rwanda in 2022 show that nearly 6 million children make up 44.5% of the total population of Rwanda. Enora Gladys, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Enora, for the details. Now, caregivers and parents alike emphasized the importance of supporting children with disabilities, stressing that providing proper care is essential to empowering them for a brighter future. Prince Manzi with more.
This young boy's life was normal until 11th June 2024 when he was knocked in a car accident that resulted in a disability, as elaborated by his parent, Karin Musabyimana.
I was with him and the car knocked him out. After the incident, I went into a coma. I was pregnant and after giving birth, I asked for my child. His limbs were not functioning. They told us that his head was severely damaged.
These parents reside in Kicukiro district in the house of a Samaritan neighbor. They say that medical services for their child, who is their third, are expensive, yet they have to take care of the other children.
As he is sick, he is unable to get fruits or any other special food because, since the accident, the father has not yet secured a job, and me as well. After all, I had surgery, but I was unable to secure follow-up treatments because of lack of funds.
In HVP Gatagara in Kicukiro district, Gikondo sector, there are 162 children with mental disorders, and 65% of them are autists. For parents, their wish is that their children can be taken care of.
As parents, we have various obstacles, including diseases. When our children are at school, they are not depressed and the parents are happy. They gain a lot that can support them if their parents are unavailable.
Jean-Pierre Neziryayo of HVP Gatagara in Gikondo, Kicukiro district, states that children with disabilities and those with mental disorders are to be taken care of as early as possible. An example is the medical services they will need. It is better to have them taken to the hospital earlier than waiting for the situation to ameliorate. The second thing is education. The earlier they get to school, they can be able to learn, but when one delays, they are unable to memorize some things. Taking a child of 15 years, it cannot be the same with taking in a 3 years old. The National Council of Persons with Disabilities is conducting a census of people with disabilities starting from children under 5 years. Its Executive Secretary, Emmanuel Ndayisaba, urges parents to not hide children with disabilities. Taking care of people with disabilities will soon not depend on a family, rather on an individual, depending on the type of disability. And those who hide their children with disabilities, they have to avoid such mindset because the child will be one's burden, yet they could have been supported by the country's economic planning. According to the National Council of Persons with Disabilities, the information collection on people with disabilities has reached 99% and will end with November. The 2022 population and housing census demonstrated that there are 391,000 people with disabilities. Currently, there are 508,000 people with disabilities in the country.
Thank you, Prince. Now, the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Rwanda is hosting its third Public Accountability Forum focused on promoting transparency and accountability through best practices in public financial management. William Evans has more.
This forum aims to equip participants with skills to apply and integrate the public finance management policy, legal, regulatory, institutional accountability and reporting frameworks, including the entire public finance management cycle and related institutions involved in public sector finance management.
The purpose of this third annual public sector training accountability forum is to make sure that we provide a platform where the various people who work in the public sector in the various roles, from accounting, auditing, PFM, basically the whole procurement, the whole PFM cycle, to really give them an opportunity to reflect on what they do on a day-to-day basis, look at the various reforms that are ongoing, the ones that are coming up, and really be able to discuss some of those issues and be able to see how we can be able to align to the national priorities and see how we can improve on what is being done in the public sector.
According to Accountant General, Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning, this forum will also be used to review different audit reports and recommendations given and how best they can be implemented.
It is very important to public sector because it's where we have the Auditor General present, we have Accountant General, we have Internal Auditor General, then we have some CBMs here, and then we have the accountants who are involved in daily activity of accounting. Then here is a very good room of sharing the issues, the experiences, what they are meeting during the executing accounting activities, but also looking at what the Auditor General has recommended by reviewing the audit reports that were given and see the recommendation provided and how best we can implement to ensure that we maintain the good opinion, audit opinion in terms of public finance management.
Participants will for the next 3 days discuss new developments on taxation in public sector, effective budgeting considerations for public sector organizations, and public debt management in the public sector context, among others. William Evans, Mtabazi, RwandaTV News.
Now to the education sector, primary school teachers report that the adjusted school start times have significantly improved children's learning as students are now more alert and focused compared to how it was before when many arrived at school still feeling drowsy. Parents and educators in Kigali also commend the change, highlighting its positive impact on students' academic success. We have more.
Since January 2023, the start of classes was shifted from 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. Nearly 2 years later, educators report that the change has allowed students to begin their day well rested, resulting in a more conducive learning environment.
Students now arrive at school well rested as they have sufficient time to rest. This enables them to stay attentive during lessons, which has positively influenced their academic performance.
Before, when learners used to come to school very early, it was really hard for them to get into the mode of class or studying because they really appeared to be somehow tired because of them waking up early in the morning. But for now, whenever you reach in class, you can see that students are in the mode of studying because they are coming at school not in early morning hours, but at the hours that are like they are comfortable with those hours. They are not coming at school very late, so it helps with their studying very much.
Parents and students say that waking up early used to be a challenge, but with the later start to classes, they now have more time to prepare and even socialize before school begins.
Previously, children would often become overly fatigued and occasionally fall ill due to insufficient rest. However, with the later school start times, they now appear more relaxed and are showing improved performance in class.
From when we started coming at 8 a.m., it was very interesting and important. From when we came from 7, it was very bad because we didn't sleep well, but from now on we sleep well and it can't lead to mental problems. And we meet with our parents every morning.
Yeah, before when we went to school very early, we didn't have time to talk to our parents about the things which are important from our school. And we didn't have time to prepare ourselves, and we didn't have time to eat. But now we go at school at 8, but now we have time to talk to our parents. We have time to eat well and to prepare ourselves. Thank you for giving us time to prepare ourselves at home so that we can have more time to talk to our parents and prepare ourselves well.
Dr. Ngenzi Alexandre Yusuf, an education expert and lecturer at the University of Rwanda, highlights that the adjusted class schedules have positively impacted students' overall well-being, including their mental health.
When children get enough rest, it significantly benefits their mental well-being, which is especially crucial given the rising prevalence of mental health issues today. Adequate rest helps children maintain emotional balance and resilience. Additionally, proper rest contributes to overall physical health by supporting better digestion, which can help prevent excessive weight gain and reduce the risk of obesity.
The cabinet meeting on November 11, 2022, decided that starting January 2023, classes would run from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., aligning with the new working hours of 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Many believe these adjustments have contributed to a reduction in traffic accidents, as parents now have more time to drop off their children before heading to work. Welcome back. Now let's take a look at international news. Poverty and hunger are factors in the global migration crisis, says experts on the sidelines of the G20 summit in Brazil. They say social safety nets can help migrate causes that compel people to leave their homes. VOA has the details.
Steve Said was a political science student in Haiti. He left in 2023 because there were no jobs there. Security was a concern. The 22-year-old says he needed to try for a better life.
Because the situation there is difficult. I chose Brazil because I heard of work opportunities and how welcoming Brazilian people are.
To get to Brazil, he crossed without documentation into the Dominican Republic. He says it was dangerous and expensive.
The first time I did not get in, but I went back to the border.
Said spent a month in the Dominican Republic. He worked and saved money. After a month, he got a humanitarian visa and now lives in Brazil seeking economic stability.
In life, you can't stop. If you need to get somewhere, you have to fight until the end.
According to the Brazilian Federal Police, about 164,000 Haitians live in the country. And as Brazil hosts leaders from the world's 20 largest economies at their summit in Rio de Janeiro, experts say G20 countries need to have ready the resources to integrate migrants into their new homes.
That must always be addressed from a human rights perspective. Additionally, G20 leaders should acknowledge that migration also occurs due to structural issues such as poverty, environmental disasters, wars, and conflicts.
In its declaration, the G20 agreed it is important to prevent irregular migration and respond to the root causes of displacement, such as hunger and poverty. Wellington Dias, Brazil's development minister, says 2.4 billion people worldwide live in poverty.
But beyond the migration issue, I always argue that hunger and poverty are not just problems for those who are hungry or living in poverty. It is a problem for middle class, for the wealthy, for rich countries, and for wealthy individuals.
Dias says people in desperate need might turn to crime, creating problems for everyone. So a key initiative at the summit is the creation of the Global Alliance Against Hunger and Poverty. The alliance aims to provide cash transfers for 500 million people and school meals for 150 million children. More than 80 countries, 24 international organizations, 9 international financial institutions, and 31 philanthropies have joined so far.
It is no longer just giving food baskets. We are talking about implementing a development plan that must address education, which is a key foundation for eradicating poverty, as well as health, the economy, job creation, and infrastructure.
According to the United Nations, the relationship between food insecurity, migration, and displacement is heavily influenced by climate change, natural disasters, conflicts, and poverty, the major themes during Brazil's G20 summit. Aline Barros, VOA News, Rio de Janeiro.
And this marks the end of tonight's bulletin, but before we leave, a reminder of our top stories. Rwanda is ranked 6th with a score of 66% among the African countries with excellent projects in affordable housing. University students in Rwanda district are committed to combating genocide denial and ideology. On the international scene, experts say that poverty and hunger are factors in the global migration crisis. Thank you for tuning into tonight's broadcast. On behalf of the technical and news production team, we sincerely thank you for being with us. Until next time, goodbye.